I've been hiking for a lot of years. Since I was in grade school, I was backpacking in Boy Scouts, backpacking in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. Did a lot of day hiking in 50s and 60s until one day I found that I was a 70-year-old hiker. And you know, there are a lot of different things about hiking at 70 than hiking at age 30. And those things require a little bit of extra care and a little bit of different type of equipment and procedures. So I wanted to give you some tips that I've found useful in hiking safely at 70. First tip concerns clothing. Starting with footwear, I used to hike in boots back in the day, and I'd love to hike in much lighter shoes right now. But I find that trail runners, although they're light and wonderful and comfortable to wear, just don't give my older feet the protection they need on rocky trails at the crest. So the compromise I made between heavy boots and trail runner lightness is by going to hiking shoes. I use Salomon X Ultra 4s. They give me the protection on the bottom of my feet that I get from hiking boots, and yet they're not much heavier than trail runners. So I find these to be a great compromise. So it's an individual choice, but for me, hiking shoes are the way to go at 70. One thing you have to worry about when you're at this age that's a little different from when you were in your 20s and 30s is skin protection. You don't tan the way you did back in the day, and your skin is a lot thinner, so you're going to rip and tear it much more easily if you run into brush or rocks or just take a fall. So I found that it really helps to be able to protect your skin at all times. So here are a couple of pieces of equipment you really ought to use to protect that sensitive skin. First, sun hoodies. A sunscreen will protect your arms from scratches, and it gives you great sun protection all the way through with a great SPF factor. In addition, you can even pull your sun hoodie up over your baseball cap and hike like this. But I don't really like to go this route. Instead, I prefer a broad brim hat. There's more air circulation. It gives me plenty of protection from the sun coming in at the sides for my head. It's very lightweight and very comfortable. So for a 70-year-old hiker, I think a broad brim hat is the way to go. It works for me. And finally, I'd recommend to protect your legs from that brush and scratches on the rocks, a good quality pair of hiking pants. These are Cool brand hiking pants. There are a lot of other good ones. They always work really well for me, so I strongly recommend them. And again, they just don't feel that really noticeably hotter than wearing shorts. Finally, there's nothing like a good pair of trekking poles to help you out on a hike. These are great for going uphill. It makes those uphills flatten right out. And in addition, it's a tremendous aid in keeping balance. Your balance may not be as good now as it was in your 20s and 30s. At age 70, a little assistance is a really good thing. And I find these help me on stream crossings, hopping from rock to rock, or even walking across a log and other situations. A trekking pole will give you a lot of stability. And there are two other pieces of equipment I'd really recommend that the 70-year-old hiker take when going up in the mountains on a hike to keep safe. First of these is a good quality rain shell. This is a Patagonia Torrent shell, and it is really good to have in the event you run into some afternoon thunderstorms up in the mountains where the temperature can change quite a bit very quickly. It'll keep you dry and safe. And second, for that added warmth, I'd recommend some kind of a down vest that you can wear underneath the rain shell just to keep yourself warm in any kind of conditions in the mountains. They only weigh a couple of pounds, but they could be a lifesaver in a dangerous situation. Once you're ready to hit the trail, I think the first thing you have to do is file a flight plan. Take a map of your trail, highlight your route, and give it to the folks back home so they know exactly where you're going and when you intend to be back. In addition, take one of these along on your pack. some sort of a GPS device. I use a Garmin InReach Mini. It has an SOS button if I need it, and it also connects through the internet to a site where people back home at any given time can see exactly where you are up in the mountains, track you, know when you're going out, and know when you're coming back. These are worth their weight in gold, so I would pick up something comparable to this. And finally, there are other bits of gear that it's really useful to have as a 70-year-old hiker. This is my waterproof diddy bag, and in here, well, let's see what's in here. I have a really good first aid kit, have a thermometer and compass. For those early summer hikes, here's a mosquito net you can drape right over your hat. Mosquito repellent and sun guard. At night, you'll almost certainly want to have a little headlamp in case you get out stuck on a dark trail away from the trailhead. This really makes it much easier to get back to the car. And of course, a water filtration system wherever water might be in doubt and you can't bank on what you're carrying along in your pack. Once you're out on the trail, I'd make a recommendation that a lot of folks may not really want to hear, but I think that if you're going out solo, you should really stick to the maintained trails. I know when we were in our 20s and 30s, we'd ramble along over the crests and the ridges and go cross country wherever we wanted. But these days, that's probably not as good an idea as it was back in the day. Finally, in getting ready for a hike, I would try to be in as good a shape as your doctor approves and as you reasonably can become. And that means going out there, riding a bike, swimming, taking a good brisk jog every day, or just a lot of good walking around town. All this will help. It will really make those hills flatten out and make you much safer if you get in any trouble on your hike if you're in pretty good shape going into it. So don't neglect that. And also don't neglect resistance training because that will help with the trekking poles, and that means don't skip leg day either. So those are a few pointers that I hope will help you hike safely at 70 and with a little luck. Maybe be hiking nicely at 80 and eagerly at 90 as well. So with that, good luck and have a good hike.